The wait is finally over. We're going to be talking about the provinces of Indonesia. Yes. Link to the original videos down in the description below. If you like the commentary and discussions we do here on my channel, consider subscribing. Without further ado, buckle up. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, welcome back. As you know, while I work in between country episodes, I do filler videos.
Oh my God, that's so loud. It scared me.
And oh my Jilly Jiminikers, what is all this? You can get a Geography Now mug, Geography Now shirt, or a Geography Now drawstring bag at geographynow.com. And by golly gosh gillikers, what is this? It is one of the limited edition Geography Now figurines that you can get at figgyme.com.
I love that figure.
If you get the drawstring bag, you can put the figurine in the drawstring bag and take it away wherever you go. Anyway, we gotta move on. And what are we gonna do this time? Another administrative division video. So
why is it so loud and scary?
This video is one that has been suggested to me for a long time. And why? So as you guys know, I already mentioned that India was my #1 Asian demographic subscribed country on Geography Now. And so I made that video. So by that logic, I guess it makes sense to go down the line and go to Asian demographic #2 country, Indonesia. And this is gonna be
shout out to all the Indonesians on my channel. Love you guys. You guys always represent your country, your culture, your history. I love that. And not just you guys, but anybody who celebrates their culture and their history. To me, I find it very inspiring. In today's age of like social media, entertainment, everything moves so fast, and so you start losing. It's really easy to lose touch of, the beauty that we created as humans on this planet, and seeing people celebrate when people talk about their country, or just celebrate their history. To me, is like it's a reminder to take things slower and appreciate everything around us. So thank you for that.
Great episode, because some of you guys, the Indonesian geography peeps, are going to be in the video as well. You're going to be featured as guest stars. So before we get into the video, just some quick little Indonesia side notes you need to know. There is no one type of Indonesian. There are about 300 or so recognized ethnic groups. They have 7 geographical region units, and of these provinces, 7 of them have special status. 1 province has privileged status, and 1 province has both special and privileged status. And in the case, with all of that in mind, let's go down the list and explain the provinces. And instead of going alphabetically, I think it might be more appropriate to go by the regions. So let's do it that way. Okay.
Which that's actually a smart way of doing it. Because if you did, I'm sure if you did it alphabetical and you're bouncing around the map, it would be so confusing. But I want to say this is probably by far my most requested video from you guys. And I was procrastinating doing this solely because I knew it was going to take it was going to be a longer video, but also because I wanted to make sure that I was primed and mentally ready, because I know how interesting and complex Indonesia is. I think it's so funny how every time I feel like I finally got a gist of an understanding of something in regards to Indonesia, you guys are like, yeah, this is awesome, but just wait, it's gonna get even more interesting and complex. And so it's always like this, like never ending, like trying to learn, but like that. And I'm not saying that as a bad thing, by the way. I love learning. I think it's one of the beauties of our lives, is that we can always learn something new. And that's what I like so much about Indonesia, is there's always some way to go deeper and deeper and deeper with it. And I'm very grateful for that. So let's keep going.
Okay, so first, Sumatra. This region has the largest non-shared island that fully lies within Indonesia. It is the 6th largest island in the world, and historically it was kind of like the starting point to various Hindu and Buddhist kingdoms.
Is it really the starting point? Did you guys get a cultural spawn point? That's actually kind of crazy for your... Can someone verify that in the comments? Like, by the way, if you're new here, I ask a lot of questions, and it's not because like I just will never know. I actually like reading and learning. So, and I think this is one of those questions. Did y'all really get a cultural historical spawn point in y'all's country? Because that's actually kind of crazy. That's actually really awesome.
Until Islam came in centuries later, and it is the 5th most populous island in the world. First off, Aceh. Largest city, Banda Aceh. Largest ethnic group, Acehnese.
Banda Aceh, Acehnese. which actually kind of makes sense because Banda Aceh.
This is one of the special status provinces. So Aceh is considered the most religious out of all the provinces and is the only province that is allowed to have full implementation of Sharia law in religious, customary, and education aspects of societal life. Historically, they were very rebellious against pretty much all outsiders, including the Dutch and later even Indonesians. There was even like a separatist movement that went on for like 3 decades until peace agreements were signed in 2005. In any case, the most famous site is probably the Baituraman Grand Mosque.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And I love that it's well taken care of. I think this is one of the things that if you follow my channel long enough, I love talking about architecture. I know it sounds really boring for Americans. They don't really like talking about that stuff. But for me, it's like we've had such a beautiful opportunity to live in a world where we have such beautiful architecture. And it really breaks my heart when a lot of countries, not going to name which ones, don't take care of their historical sites. Even if it's like a different society and a different power that's ruling or a different religion, I still think it's some beauty to appreciating architecture. It always breaks my heart when like, you know, something so beautiful just is just let to wither. You know what I mean? Let me know if you agree with that. Like, I just think we as humans should do better about taking care of historical sites and well made architecture.
Mosque in Banda Aceh, and yeah, very Islamic here. North Sumatra, capital and largest city, Medan. The largest ethnic group, the Batak people. Indonesians jokingly call Medan Indonesia's Gotham City.
What? Nah, that's crazy. What? Gotham City? But let me guess. Let me guess. It's crime. It's where all the crime is, huh? But y'all got Wait, didn't? No, I was thinking, didn't Batman train in? No, but I think Batman trained in Nepal, right? Is that where in the Dark Knight movies, in the Christopher Nolan movies? I'm pretty sure. But that's crazy, yeah. Batman City, Gotham.
North Sumatra is famous for 2 things. It has the largest lake in the country and volcanic lake in the world, Lake.
Whoa. I want to go there. I want to go there. It looks like in the photos, like there's a little cities right there. Is it actually super accessible or is it kind of like a pain in the butt to get to? I mean, I'm sure, I mean, we have planes, but sometimes it depends on like weather and stuff like that. So actually let me know in the comments on this one. This is like for me personal, because if again, I'm going to be traveling someday in the future. So this would be somewhere I definitely want to check out.
Toba. And 2, it's also known for its Batak people, which also has a lot of subgroups. They have cool traditions and customs like those sharp, pointy roofed Batak houses that...
Oh, this is where it comes from. Because I've seen photos of these buildings, these houses. That's so cool. And then the idea of like stone furniture out here. That's actually really smart. Huh.
Come with stone chairs and tables, sigale-gale puppet dances, and although it's not used much anymore, they do have their own writing system. Next one, Riau.
That's another thing too. I think more countries need to preserve their writings, historical writings. I know thanks to AI, which is one of the good things about AI, is like we're being able to transcribe some older documents, but it would be nice that we can try to restore them. I wish there was like a technology that can actually restore some of these older historical writings, but that's what weather does to things. It's just really hard to try to restore some things, but that's another thing I hope we can do better as humans.
Capital, Pekanbaru. Largest ethnic group, the Malay. It used to be under the Johor Riau Sultanate, which was Malay, which is why today Malay peoples make up the majority of the population. You can see the Sultan's former palace. They're famous for their talempong music, which uses kettle gongs. And economically speaking, this province is a big deal because they are the oil province, which has made the hydrocarbon industry their largest employer. Next one,
which you always want to diversify. I think it's great, but that's awesome that you guys have natural resources.
Riau Islands. Capital, Tanjung Pinang, but the largest city is Batam. Largest ethnic group, the Malays. Now I know this one because this is the one I went to.
Oh, that's
Batam
right.
City.
Yeah.
So
he was there for like what, 3 hours? No, he was there 3 hours. Gosh, I gotta remember. He was there 3 or 4 hours, and he had 2 meals. And so the joke was that when I go, I gotta stay there 4 hours and have 3 meals, right? I have to do 1 hour more and 1 extra meal. I think it's what we said or something. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that's what we were gonna do.
Basically, as this place sits close to Singapore, it is very important economically, and of course it shares some of that offshore oil industry as well. And the largest city that I actually visited, Batam, is a duty-free trade zone, which is why Singaporeans usually take that 40-minute long ferry to go over there to buy cheap things. Besides the
Which, by the way, 40-minute ferry is not that bad. I feel like maybe it is, but when you're dealing with big city traffic, you could literally be sitting in one place for 40 minutes going nowhere. So
Malay majority, there are other native groups, most notably the Orang Laut and the Lingga peoples that were traditionally semi-nomadic seafarers. They lived on their boats sometimes. It's a hustling, bustling island province, I guess.
interesting.
Next one, West Sumatra, capital Padang, largest ethnic group Minangkabau. Now, people from this province are kind of known as like intellectuals. They're politically savvy and successful businessmen, which is why they sometimes have the stereotype of being stingy. Every Indonesian is familiar with the largest people group here, the Minangkabau. They are very flashy.
Is that true though, or is that just like again? I have no reference point, but y'all let me know in the comments if that stereotype's kind of true.
They love wearing either gold or gold-colored fabrics. The Minangkabau are considered the largest matrilineal society in the world, as family name and land passes down from mother to daughter, whereas religious and political affairs are handled by men. Rumah gadang houses.
Whoa! Look at those. Beautiful.
And the pyramid-shaped mosque. They also invented the most famous Indonesian dish, beef rendang.
Okay, I don't want to get it. You guys know how we do it on this channel. We talk about food. Is this accurate? You know, what I mean, I don't want. Look, I'm not a historical food person, so I'm not gonna know everything. But when people start saying that they started it, I gotta see some proof. But that looks really, really good. So let me know in the comments if that's really where it started. But I would believe it. I believe it.
Love that stuff. Jambi, capital Jambi, largest ethnic group Jambi, Malay. It's a type of Malay. Apparently I heard the word Jambi, the meaning comes from the word for betel nut. In any case, Jambi was a hotspot to many sites of the former Srivijaya Empire. Today you can even see remnants of the empire with archaeological sites.
Wow.
It's also famous for being the best place to see the Sumatran tiger and incredibly rare elusive Sumatran rhino.
Whoa. Oh, okay. So we need to look into the wildlife of Indonesia. I really I need to, because if you have so many diverse cultures, typically, historically at least, some of those cultures are also a reflection of the local wildlife. And so if there's such different types, like such a variety, then does that mean there's such a variety of animals as well? Because like they would mimic the culture a little bit, right? So I wonder.
Finally, I was told that although the Malay here are the majority, they have their own distinct dialect, and many of them actually adopt Javanese names. South
We learned that actually in the last video, I think.
Sumatra, capital Palembang, largest ethnic group, the Palembang. Palembang is nicknamed the Venice of Sumatra. They have a lot of those stilt houses on the water.
That's
you can
so
ride a
cool.
boat through them. So if Jambi was the hotspot of the Srivijayan Empire, South Sumatra was the home. Some people say this is the birthplace of the Malay language, and the largest ethnic group here, the Palembang peoples, they're like the Minangkabau. They're very vibrant and flashy. You can find Bagi and Limas houses, traditional architecture. It's even posted on the 10,000 rupiah banknote. Kamaro Island Pagoda is a famous site, and they are famous for the rubber and oil palm industry.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Dang, y'all have a variety of stuff.
So, the Bangka Belitung Islands, capital Pangkal Pinang, largest ethnic group, the Malays, once again. So this place is made up of two main big islands, Bangka and Belitung, hence the name of the province. Sometimes they are collectively called Babel.
Is it actually called Babel? Is that what the app references, you guys? Is Babel?
The islands were once home to one of the world's largest tin production mines. They have really good seafood dishes here. I was told like Mia Belitung, Kangan soup, and Rujak Bangka, Panggung.
I mean, y'all guys islands. I mean, y'all live so close to the water. You're gonna have amazing seafood. I think that's one of the things about Indonesia that I can't wait is seafood. Like y'all have. You're at the perfect spot.
Houses are elevated to protect from the flood. Songket weaving and crafts. Also, this place is famous for Chinese people that have lived here generationally since the 13th century, mostly of Hakka Chinese descent. Bengkulu, capital Bengkulu. Largest ethnic group, Rejangis. So to kind of quickly summarize, this is the place that probably has the most British influence and remnants that you can find in all of Indonesia. It was one of the earliest areas that they traded and established a presence. You can even see some of the forts that they left behind. So basically, it used to be a UK possession, but then they swapped with the Dutch for Singapore. That's kind of how it happened. And the Rafflesia Arnold flower was documented here, and
oh my gosh, is that where it's from? Ugh, it makes me all itchy.
they named it after the British governor, Stamford Raffles. I mean, people had already known that it existed before, but it was documented, so yeah. Lampung, capital, Bandar Lampung, largest ethnic group. Not the Lampung, they only make about 14%, it's actually the Javanese. So this is kind of like the land of the trans-migrant program in which a lot of Indonesians came here and migrated here. They're known for having some really good conservation centers, like this one, which has a lot of elephants. A lot of great nature here. You can even find the Krakatoa volcano, which was the volcano that had like the largest eruption in all of known history.
I think we learn that in the last video. Which video? I feel like we talked about the volcano.
You guys told me the people here are known for being temperamental. It's also famous for the Tari Pendit dance, which has like the dancers make their wide eyes. And now we move on to the Java region. So Java is like the powerhouse of Indonesia. It is the world's most populated island, and
160 million people on that island. You guys said that it's big, but still, that is a lot of people for an island. It's incredible how y'all make it work. I'm very impressed.
it has about 57% of the entire country's population in it, and the island is only like a little bit bigger than Greece. And it is home to the largest ethnic group in Indonesia, the Javanese people, that make up about 40% of the country's entire population. So let's start off with Banten, capital Serang, but the largest city is Tangerang, and the largest ethnic group is the Bantenese. This is the newest province in Java, partially because it had its own unique history as being its own sultanate. You can even see the former palace ruins. Now, some people say,
see, you guys from the photos, it looks like you guys took care of, regardless of where the buildings came from or the architecture came from, you guys took care of it, it seems, which I think is a great way to not just teach your history, but teach your students about the world. Like if you say, for example, we had the British fort, it's like, oh, let's learn. Today we're going to be talking about what the British. So let's go to this site, and you could teach a lesson of what this country was. You could teach your history, but you could also prepare them about where their philosophy comes from, and that makes them better students, better business people, better philosophers, better problem solvers, because they're able to see contrasting ideas that the rest of the world may do. You see what I'm saying? And so I think that's such a tool that we should not let go to waste. And that is architecture.
Say that the largest group, the Bantenese, as well as the Badui or Kanekes people, are actually a subgroup of the Sundanese people, and Sundanese is the dominant language here. Otherwise, they have this national park, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's home to some of the endangered Javan rhinoceroses. It's a huge industrial hub, and you guys told me it's also famous for black magic. I don't know what that means, but you told me.
Wait, y'all got black magic over there? I feel like every country, well, not every country. Yeah, no, not every country, but that's crazy. I got black magic over there. That's spooky.
Next one, Jakarta, capital itself, formerly known as Sunda, Kelapa, Jayakarta, Batavia. This is not only the largest city in Indonesia, but it's also the capital of the whole country, and hence it gets its own provincial status.
But didn't it just get moved? So this video is a little bit old, though, from my understanding.
It's the most diverse city, the economic and legislative hub. Most companies in Indonesia have a headquarters in Jakarta. Monuments everywhere. Technically, the city is sinking, which causes sinkholes. And the thing is, like, the traffic is so bad in Jakarta that they've actually, like, adapted a subculture called macet. It's like they use traffic to socialize and sell things, and they even have, like, their own sign language that they use to communicate long distances. West Java.
That's insane. I would never want to do traffic. Jakarta.
Java, capital Bandung, but the largest city is Bekasi, and largest ethnic group Sundanese. And we got an Indonesian that's gonna take this one.
Hello geography, Sampurasun. My name is Ilham and I'm from West Java, and I'll explain to you a little bit about my province. West Java is the most populous of all the province and is home to the third and fourth largest cities, and also Bandung is actually considered as the Paris of Indonesia. And also I am Sundanese, and West Java is home of the Sundanese people, the second largest ethnic group in Indonesia after Javanese. It was the home of the Sunda Kingdom. And also Sundanese people is famous for our beautiful woman, humorous man. A lot of our comedians come from West Java.
Dang, got a lot going on in this region.
Even though there is actually a superstition that Sundanese people and Javanese people should have not married, but more like just a superstition. And also just like
Okay. Probably one of those questions I'm gonna ask. Can someone explain the superstition? Because I'm not just gonna let them like just say that and then not explain it. Because I need to know more. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Like it's very like, what's the story behind that? I need to know.
the Japanese people, we have our own writing system. Otherwise, angklung music, Sundanese puppetry. As you can see, this is the old angklung. You just have to shake it like this.
Thank you. Central Java, capital Semarang, largest ethnic group Javanese. This is the center of Javanese culture and people. Things like Javanese shadow puppetry, gamelan music, keris blades, batik cloth, Javanese dancing. It can all be found here. Home to various pre- and post-Islamic Javanese kingdoms. So many ancient historical sites you can check out, especially Borobudur Temple.
This is the temple we were talking about last time. And how big it is. This looks way bigger than the last photo we saw. We're gonna do a whole video on this one though, because this is crazy huge. That's huge. And the fact that you can go inside of this it's impressive.
The largest Buddhist temple in the world. Lots of people, even Indonesians, mistake it and they think it's located in Yogyakarta. No, it's located here. It was also the hub of the Dutch East India Company when the Dutch came in. Javanese people have their own script, and in my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful scripts in the world.
That looks awesome. Yeah, I can see that. That looks really cool.
It looks like something written by elves. It is taught in schools, but sadly, like most other nations.
Yeah, I can see, definitely could see it coming out of like a Lord of the Rings movie for sure. I was like, why would you say that? But then I was like, you know what? It actually kind of makes sense that like it's that beautiful of a language, because elves in Lord of the Rings love beauty and fancy and elegance. So anyway, let me know if you care for Lord of the Rings. I do. I love Lord of the Rings.
Native scripts of Indonesia. It mostly plays a symbolic role rather than a functional daily role. Yogyakarta. The capital is itself Yogyakarta. Largest ethnic group, Javanese. So this province has special autonomous status and acts sort of like a mini sultanate under the Republic of Indonesia. But see, that's the thing. Most people think it's just ruled under the sultanate, but actually it's a diarchy co-ruled under the Yogyakarta Sultanate and the Duchy of Pakualaman, which is a minor Javanese princely state. So basically, if West Java was the center of Javanese culture, this is the heart. It's the site of Prambanan Temple.
Whoa. Dang, that's huge. How tall are these? How tall are these? These look. So you have the first and you have the second. Jeez, that's crazy.
The second largest Hindu temple in Southeast Asia after Angkor Wat. It's famous for having some of the best universities in Indonesia. Also, I was told this is a very popular street that tourists go to for
Malioboro? Boro?
cheesy, gimmicky shopping. East Java, capital Surabaya. Largest ethnic group, Javanese once again. And for this one, let's go to one of our Indonesians, shall we?
Yo, apa kabar, Rere? I'm Maindra and I'm going to explain about my home province, East Java. The largest empire in Indonesia was located in what's now called Mojokerto City, to be exact. Surabaya, which is the capital of East Java, is the second largest city in Indonesia. Surabaya is also called the city of heroes because the battle between the Indonesian and the Dutch after independence is located in Surabaya. And
okay, November 10th, Heroes Day. I was just about to ask that.
every November 10, we celebrated Heroes Days. It also has the Suramadu Bridge, which connects the...
Y'all really built a bridge that long? That's crazy. Oh my goodness.
mainland Java, and also the Madura Island. Okay, that's all. Bye.
Why? That's insane. How long did it take to build that bridge? It's had to take so long. That is a huge bridge.
Thank you. Also, it's where you can find the unique Tengarese people. Basically, they are the cousins of the Balinese people that split off and they stayed in the mountains of Java during the Hindu Majapahit Empire times. Most of them are still Hindu and they speak an ancient form of Javanese that regular Javanese people can't understand. And now we move on to the Kalimantan region, also known as Borneo. This is the third largest island in the world and politically it's shared with Malaysia and Brunei. So let's start off. West Kalimantan, capital Pontianak, largest group, the Dayak peoples. So the capital city, Pontianak, actually straddles the equator and they have a monument dedicated to it. You guys
That's so cool, actually. That's really awesome. I would want to check that one out for sure.
told me Pontianak or Kuntilanak are ghosts of virgin women that died in unnatural ways. Here you can also find the
All right. Well, you guys got to let me know about that. I got to know about that one too. That is, you can't just say that and not explain it. What is that? What's going on?
longest river in Indonesia, the Kapuas River. Ethnically, this area is dominated by the Dayak tribes, and they also have one of the largest Chinese Indonesian communities. In fact, this regency, Singkawang, it's like 70% Chinese. There was even a time when the Chinese Indonesians tried to make their own country called the Lanfang Republic, but it was squelched by the Dutch colonials. Central Kalimantan, capital Palangkaraya, and of course Dayak peoples are the largest group. And we got a special Indonesian geography to explain this one.
Greetings, I'm Nafa, and I'm from Central Kalimantan, currently the largest province in Indonesia. In 1957, our province was separated from South Kalimantan to give Dayak folks from three regencies more autonomy. Our most influential local hero is Anakletus Cilikriwut, and he's also our first ever governor. In our province, you can find the Kaharingan Temple, which is a place of worship for an indigenous monotheistic folk religion called Kaharingan. And in some areas, Central Kalimantan has unique traditional house called
Wow. Called Huma Batang. What are these called? And what does these represent? These totems. That's really interesting.
Huma Betang, usually accompanied by a sapundu carved sculptures. This
Sapundo. So what does those mean? What is the representation? What is the context to those?
temple used a mini version of the Huma Betang called Sandung as a shrine to give the bones of the deceased. And lastly, we have one of the most famous orangutan conservations here, Tanjung Puting National Park.
The orangutans. I said this last time, y'all. Y'all don't listen to me. You gotta be careful with orangutans. They look all cuddly and beautiful, but you know, they're still pretty smart and very dangerous. They can mess you up if they wanted to, but they're really awesome. I'm not just saying that because people wander around, but for some reason Americans love importing exotic animals and they end up getting out or like doing some crazy stuff and hurting people. I just need Americans to stop doing that. Okay. Leave those animals alone. But also we gotta learn to respect the animals of this planet a little bit more.
Thank you.
Thank you. South Kalimantan, capital Banjarbaru, but the largest city is Banjarmasin, largest ethnic group, the Banjaris. This is the smallest province in Kalimantan, considered the flattest and swampiest province in Indonesia. The former capital, Banjarmasin, is considered the home of the Banjar people. And one thing you gotta know about the Banjar people, they're kind of like the mediators between the Dayak peoples and the rest of the Indonesians. The Banjar language is actually the lingua franca that most of the tribes use on the island of Kalimantan. The Malagasy language of Madagascar most closely relates to the Banjar language, and it is most likely that Madagascar was settled by ancient Banjar peoples over a millennia ago. Crazy, right? Otherwise,
That's so wild.
Banjar culture is well known throughout Indonesia as well. They have one of the only few traditional theater arts that was developed on the island.
That's so cool. Do y'all still have these shows? I love traditional theater. You know, believe it or not, I'm a theater kid. I love going to plays and shows and just performances in general. I love that.
And finally, this province is known for producing diamonds.
Uh-oh. Question. Ever since we discovered that we can make, is it artificial diamonds or the fake diamonds, you know what I'm talking about? But they're like real. The lab diamonds, like they're real diamonds, but they're from labs. Did that technology affect the region and the economy in that region?
East Kalimantan, capital Samarinda, largest ethnic group the Javanese and the Bugis. This is one of the richest provinces in Indonesia because soon it will host the future capital city of Indonesia.
Which is now being built there or was already moved there at the time of this video, I believe. So actually kind of crazy that this video called it. So that's pretty cool.
To be named Nusantara. It is also home to the oldest known kingdom in Indonesia, the Hindu-based Kutai kingdom. And today, the Kutai people, who are descendants of this kingdom, make up the fourth largest ethnic group. Basically, this province sits on the largest delta in the country, which is famous for having oil fields, so there's a lot of resource extraction potential.
A lot of money, a lot of work.
Kalimantan, capital Tanjung Selor, but the largest city is Tarakan. Largest ethnic group, the Malays and the Dayaks. They border Malaysia and even have an island that's split in half with Malaysia, Sebatik Island. So this place is kind of known for having a little bit of drama that happened in the 60s. Basically, this area was under the Bulungan Sultanate, which had close ties to Malaysia, which made things complicated during the Indonesia-Malaysia confrontation years. Long story short, lots of the royal house members or the aristocrats were either captured or killed, or they exiled to Malaysia. And today, some of the surviving members have announced that they're actually returning to Indonesia in the process of getting Indonesian citizenship. So to conclude, it's kind of like the complicated sibling of Kalimantan. And
We need to look into that. If y'all can find me like a really good video, I do see y'all's video recommendations, by the way. I'm really interested in what happened there, because as we're learning, obviously, that Indonesia is such a beautiful, complex, and there's just such deep history. But if that was like the significant event of that region, like it must have been really, really notable that it's worth talking about. So I definitely want to look into this. I think, well, maybe not right away, but eventually. This is something I think it's worth talking about, at least from my perspective.
Getting Indonesian citizenship. So to conclude, it's kind of like the complicated sibling of Kalimantan. And now we move on to the Nusa Tenggara or Lesser Sunda Islands. Although small, this is the most popular region in Indonesia to outsiders, and it all has to do with really only one island, and you know what it is. Bali!
Yep.
Capital.
Yep. I was about to say that. That's kind of crazy. Well, I mean, it's actually a good thing to have something that, because there's some countries that don't even have anything. Well, they do, but just your average. Let's use the context of like an average American. Average Americans could probably find Bali on a map because they know about Bali. So it's very, it's something to take pride in. I think more than just take pride in it, that people know where it's at.
Denpasar, largest ethnic group, the Balinese. Bali is not a country. It is a province of Indonesia and the third smallest province after Jakarta and Yogyakarta. It is the only Hindu majority province in Indonesia. However, unlike Hinduism in India or Nepal, Balinese Hindus usually do not adhere to strict vegetarian customs all the time. Like other ethnic groups, Balinese people have their own language and script. Basically, when Islam came in during the Hindu Majapahit Empire, the Balinese split off with their cousins, the Tenggaris people on Java, and they crossed the strait into Bali, which was kind of seen as like a safe haven for Hindus. Fast forward a bunch of centuries and word spread, and somehow it became a super popular tourist hotspot for Australians and Europeans, and even some Americans jump in on it. They have a lot of overcrowding issues now, and it's like, come on, guys.
Also, you guys have a lot of concerts over there. Don't blame me. That's what I didn't make that rule, so this is like a lot of artists perform over there, like international artists. So
There's a lot more you can check out in Indonesia, like literally the province next door. But for what it's worth, chill, relaxed culture, 5-star hotels, you get the deal. Bali. West Nusa Tenggara. Capital, Mataram. Largest ethnic group, the Sasak people. This province consists of 2 major islands, Lombok and Sumbawa.
Lombok.
Many of you guys, my Indonesian subscribers, have described Lombok as the Muslim version of Bali. It offers the exact same level of ecotourism and tropical resort stuff, even some cool ancient temples like this one. Lombok is known as the tobacco-producing island, while Sumbawa is like the moneymaker of this.
it's so funny. It's like, hey, well, I mean, your neighbors, you got to compete. If Bali's doing it and you're right next door, it ain't that far for them to just come on over. So that's the way I see it. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Province with cattle and gold mines. This is why Sumbaya has also kind of expressed the desire to possibly create their own province, since they feel like they provide more economically, yet the capital is on the western side of Lombok. But anyway, other than that, Bali, but just more Muslim-y. East Nusa Tenggara, capital Kupang, largest ethnic group, the Antoni/Dawan peoples.
I'm assuming because of the flag or the patch is going to be where all the Komodo dragons are. I'll be honest, Komodo dragons kind of scare me.
And for this one, let's go to one of our Indonesians, shall we?
East Nusa Tenggara is Indonesia's southernmost province. It is the only province in Indonesia where Catholics are the
Whoa, is that a real church? That looks like straight out of a movie. That looks awesome. That's got to be real. I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm asking if it's real. I think it's just because of AI has really messed up a lot of things. Like I'd be watching videos sometimes and I'm like, that's AI. That's literally AI. But this looks like a movie.
majority with about 54% of the total population. And the island of Timor, one of the main islands, share a land border with the country East Timor, which separated from Indonesia in 2002. The iconic Komodo dragon, the world's largest living lizard, are a highlight of the province. They mostly live in Rinca and Komodo Islands. East Nusa Tenggara exhibits a subtle Melanesian influence in its culture and people, as it gets closer to the geographic Melanesia. As one of the driest part of Indonesia, many islands feature semi-arid terrain, adding a unique touch to the province's diverse environment.
Thank you. And now the Sula.
I definitely want to check out the Komodo dragons, though. They look really cool. And all these regions look amazing. I think that's what's drawing me to it, is that if there's something I want to experience and learn, there's always something new.
Sulawesi region, the weird alien-shaped island with 4 arms. This is where you also find the Wallace line, which is an imaginary line that naturalists notice that the flora and fauna changes drastically.
This is exactly what I was talking about. I was talking about this earlier. I haven't seen this video, but like it's we got to look at the animals, the wildlife in Indonesia, because this is exactly what I wanted to know more about, is how many different animals do you guys have?
Like the plants and animals are more closely related to the ones in Australia than Asia over here. West Sulawesi, capital Mamuju, largest ethnic group, the Mandar peoples. Basically, this is the only province without a long arm peninsula, and it split off in 2004. It's the home of the Mandar people, and it has been trying to make itself more popular since independence. They built the scenic walkway and the capital, and they have like a Hollywood style sign on a hill. A lot of cool history here too. They have a bunch of archaeological sites.
So wait, what were they trying to do though? Like, what was the plan? Like, I think like if you look at some of these other countries that build some of the same like Hollywood signs type stuff, it's because they want to draw in not just tourism, but like movies and sports teams to come play over there. Like it's more on the entertainment side of things. Is that what they're going for? Because it's just like not traditional tourism. I guess it is tourism, but it's like a different brand of it. Which is, I think, I'm not against countries doing like sports and entertainment and movies and stuff like that. I think it's a great way to make a lot of money really, really fast. But you do have to build the infrastructure for it. Like for example, I use the Philippines. They have this super mega mall that has the stadium right next to it. Of course, I mean it's all built for convenience. So like if someone's visiting as a tourist to check out this mega mall, they can actually go see a sports team. And then if they want another sports team from another country to come, like for example, the NBA is one of the most popular sports in the world, they could just come and play in that stadium and then boom, there you go. You got your country can experience it, but it also can bring tourists. So it's like a win-win. Is that what they were going for? But basically what I'm saying is I think more countries should try to adopt that if they can, but there's nothing wrong with trying to either.
And traditional houses you can see in the rural areas. Overall, it's like Sulawesi's newer, trying hard to stick out young sibling.
Okay. Is that even fair to say? I feel like that's kind of, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to do something different. Like you gotta diversify how you make your money. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? Like it's, there's some countries, for example, that are like, oh, we typically didn't get into farming. Now we're going to get into farming just because, we want to start I don't know, feeding our own people, or our own people really got a taste for a certain type of food. And then rather than import all of it, we're just like, you know what, we'll just make it here because it's easier. Right. There's a lot of things like it's kind of like with Japanese have, was it Wagyu beef? Everybody loves Wagyu, you know, it's just nothing wrong with trying to diversify.
South Sulawesi, capital Makassar, largest ethnic group the Buginese or the Bugis and the Makassarese people. So the predominant ethnic group here, the Buginese or the Bugis people, are well known throughout Indonesia. Historically, they were known for being the best sailors, going as far as Australia to trade long before Europeans even knew what Australia was. And many notable politicians in Indonesia have been Bugis. Nonetheless, the most famous group of people that put this province on the map are probably the Toraja people. They have that really weird death ritual thing. You've probably seen pictures.
No, I have not seen this. I hope he explains a little bit more. If he does not, this is another one of those things we're going to watch a video on. We have to. This is really interesting. It kind of creeps me out, a little spooky, but I'm very open-minded and I want to see what this is about.
Or videos of it in documentaries. They put the caskets up in the open area. Southeast Sulawesi, capital Kendari, largest ethnic group the Tolaki and the Butonese. So to summarize, this place was once part of the Buton Sultanate, which is where the second largest ethnic group, the Butonese people, get their name from. And the people were known as the blacksmith people because it was noticed that a lot of people here were using iron tools.
It's like the Lord of the Rings was based on you guys. You have so many different trades and crafts and different cultures and wildlife. Like it's so crazy how different everybody, like how similar but like different. Like you sail. I could see the sharedness that you guys are talking about, but I can definitely see the huge differences of things. Like.
Otherwise, yeah, it's kind of difficult to get here by road because there's only like one small road in and out from surrounding provinces. Most people actually just prefer to arrive by ferry. And finally, they have the largest castle in the world area-wise, Central Sulawesi.
Wait, what? Largest castle area-wise? So just like how wide it is? Because that's a bold claim. Can someone verify that down in the comments below on that? I might look into that. But that is a bold claim.
Capital, Palu, largest ethnic group, the Kaili and the Buginese people. This is the heart of Sulawesi with the widest range of ethnic groups, home to so many historical kingdoms. Also, this place has some of the best Neolithic historical sites, like these megalith granite stone structures.
Oh, these things are so cool.
Ancient cave drawings. Otherwise, this place has been a huge coffee and mining hub. Recently, lots of nickel deposits have been discovered here and it boosted their industrial prospects. Goron!
Hey, nothing wrong with mining. As long as it benefits the country, that's all that matters.
Talo, capital, Gorontalo, largest ethnic group, Gorontaloan. This is an interesting one. You'll notice it's the only province in Sulawesi that doesn't have the name Sulawesi attached to it. It's the birthplace of who is considered one of the brightest Indonesians ever to have lived, former president of Indonesia, Mr. Habibie, who is also the father of Indonesia's aeronautics industry.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I see you.
Gorontaloan people used to have their own sultanate. You can see the ruins of it in these areas. They have their own unique customs and cuisines like binte biluhuta.
Oh, that looks really good.
Which is like a sweet corn porridge with shrimp and seasonings. Kind of like shrimp and grits in the USA.
Nah, but it is kind of, I guess it is kind of, but this one just looks more refreshing. Is that the best way to describe it? Like it doesn't feel... The thing about American dishes, I'm going to say this. Well, I love talking about food, but I don't like debating about food. Just because, like, it could go either way about everything. This looks way more refreshing. Feels lighter. Something that you don't feel like you're going to be all tired after eating. Whereas, like, American foods, because everything has to be so fattening or, like it does. Sometimes using fat does add flavor, but being an American, they typically add too much. And so then you get, like, all the food is just so heavy. Just makes you tired, right? So something to think about. So even if it is similar, it won't have the similar effect.
North Sulawesi, capital Manado, largest ethnic group, the Minahasan. This place was historically a huge hub for spices, rice, and gold in the past, which made it a huge point of interest from outsiders like the Portuguese, Dutch, Spanish, Chinese, and domestic kingdoms. Today, the commerce spirit is still alive, and they are famous for having some of the most extreme markets that sell jungle bushmeat. It has a population.
You gotta be careful with that, though. That's how diseases spread.
That is about 70% Christian, mostly Protestant, and the largest ethnic group, the Minahasan people, have their famous Kabasaran.
Yo, that's so cool. I think these guys are referenced in video games, right? I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me on it, but I feel like they are.
Which is like a traditional martial art and war dance, and it includes these cool red costumes and feathered headdresses and weapons. It is also the province with the only synagogue in Indonesia, as they host a small community of just a few couple hundred Sephardic Jewish people.
What? You literally have everyone there. You're literally... Now I'm starting to believe, when I was asking earlier, are you guys really like a cultural spawn point? I feel like you guys are. Especially for religion, because you have literally everyone there. How'd y'all do that? It's like y'all guys said, all right, we need to get everybody from every religion and put them in this place just so that we get the achievement of it's like so that we could be like, we got everybody. You can't say nothing to us. We represent everybody. Which, if you think about it, I'm not being if you really think about it, it's a good, smart way to start trade with any country, anywhere, in any culture. Think about it, because you're like, oh, we know what you like, we know what your culture is, so it's easier for us to do business with you. And hey, I got chills. You see that? I don't know if you can see that. That's a super smart strat. If that was the plan, it works.
Mostly originating from Spain and Portugal. Now we reach the Maluku Islands, known as the...
Which obviously it came from colonization and stuff, but it's still an advantage that you guys inherited of having different cultures you can then trade with whoever, if you lean into it.
Spice Islands. These islands are kind of like the bridge between Asia and Oceania. Everything starts to kind of blend, and you start to see a lot more Austronesian with a semi-Melanesian touch to it here. The first one, Maluku. Capital, Ambon. Largest ethnic group, the Malukans. Basically, this is the site where Europeans recorded their first interaction with the Indonesian islands. Home to the super small Banda Archipelago, which historically was at one point the only producer of nutmeg in the entire world. And
what? That's crazy.
Despite this province having small land area, they have the largest domain of ocean territory out of all the provinces. Ambon is known as the city of music because a lot of famous Indonesian singers come from here. Historically, Malukans were kind of known for being hired as like the debt collectors throughout Indonesia.
Wait, what? You telling me you have like the Indonesian debt collectors or mafia almost? That's crazy.
And in the past, they were usually the ones that worked most closely with the Dutch, which is why today most people of Indonesian descent in the Netherlands have roots from the Moluccan Islands.
Ah, I see. Now I understand. Okay. Debt collectors for the Dutch, not just debt collectors. Okay. If it was just like a culture of debt collecting, I would be like, so is that like the mafia or what? Like, how does that work? But now I understand. Debt collecting for the Dutch.
Most Moluccans are mixed between many ethnic groups, including Arabs, Europeans, and Melanesians, so there's a lot of mixed people here. North Maluku. Capital, Sofifi, but the largest city is Ternate.
Sofifi.
As for the largest ethnic group, there is no one ethnic group that dominates. There are 28 known groups here, but the one with the largest population, they guess, is the Tobelo. Basically, Maluku used to be one province, and this area split off in 1999. There were many factors, but for one, North Maluku was originally the center of the 4 largest Islamic sultanates in the eastern Indonesian archipelago, known as the 4 Mountains of Maluku, or Moloku Kiaraha. Later on, only 2 of them would remain, Tidore and Ternate. The largest city, Ternate, used to be the capital, but then they decided to move it to Sofifi to remain neutral between the 2 remaining sultanates. By the way, Ternate...
How do you even keep track of all this in a way that's like, this is a lot. I'll be honest. Like, not that like you keep track of it. How do you balance, I guess is the question, all these little changes? So, and I say little in the sense of like, it's the country, but these when these provinces make these changes on their own and they're having conflicts with other provinces, how does that even like that just seems like a headache. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about, the idea of corruption, right? Um is it's really hard to deal with corruption, or it's really hard to tackle real issues in Indonesia if you're constantly having to deal with corruption. So if corruption's finally like if you get to a point where it's like it's pretty much fixed, you can start actually dealing with a lot of the issues like inner smaller issues between the provinces. But this just seems like a real headache.
Is the oldest continuously active sultanate in Indonesia. Today, the city of Sofifi is still being built and it has less than 5,000 people.
5,000 people in a city? What? How does that even work? What jobs are even there? Okay, so this is another. What jobs are even over there for 5,000 people? It's like one place.
People as of 2023, but they're trying to get there. And finally, we reach the Papuas. Side note, this is the beginning of what constitutes geographic Melanesia as it connects to the other half of the island of the country of Papua New Guinea. This entire area was once an entire province itself up until it split into 2 provinces, Papua and West Papua, and then in 2022, it split into 4 more provinces. Traditionally, there are
like that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You went from 2 to 4. Like it's just that's so hard to keep track of. Like how do you balance all those things?
7 customary regions in this area, and some of the newer provinces kind of follow these borders more or less. Keep in mind about half of all native Indonesian languages come from just Papua alone.
But that's where it all started. I see. Okay.
And it is home to some controversies that Indonesia is faced with due to some separatist movements from the Papuan people, and they've made calls for dialogue. Keep in mind, the sentiment is not for integration into Papua New Guinea, but rather a separate independent state for themselves. But we'll get into that later.
Independent state as in province or independent state as in country?
Anyway, Southwest Papua, capital Sorong. There are 52 ethnic groups here. None of them are dominant. This area sits on...
That's so crazy. Oh my God. I'm actually getting overwhelmed now. It's like, it actually kind of, it was it's pretty, I would say, what's the word? Digestible. Well, no, not digestible, but like it was easier to follow along. But as we started getting to the eastern side towards Papua New Guinea, right, to that region, it was like, oh my gosh, it's getting so confusing now, because it's like not confusing, but it's just like overwhelming how much is going on. That it's like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Like, how do you even teach a class on your own country when there's just so much? I mean, I guess because you're in school for, for a long time because you're kids, when you're kids and you're growing up. But like, still, even then, it's like, holy moly.
On the Doberai or Bird's Head Peninsula of the Papuan Island, which was a customary region. And this province's name is a complete misnomer as it sits on the northwesternmost part of the island, not the southwest, but they never changed the name, which is confusing. Hey, these provinces seem to change their name and split every few years, so who knows, maybe it'll happen soon.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm glad he mentioned it, because I was like, if he didn't mention that, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was going crazy. I was like, there's just no. Am I the only one that's noticing that these guys are changing a lot? There's a lot of changing going on like a smaller individual level. Like, we need to slow down, guys. What's going on here?
I don't know, whatever, it's weird. In any case, historically this place used to be ruled by these 4 kings, and since there are too many languages, the lingua franca used here is usually Papuan Malay. There's a Christian majority here, and they're famous for the Raja
Whoa, those islands look cool.
Ampat National Park, which has these really cool sharp island clusters and one of the most biodiverse reef systems in all of Indonesia.
Wait, can you, well, I guess if it's a reef, they probably won't let you swim in there, but I would love to go diving and see that stuff.
It's really cool stuff. Next one, West Papua, capital Manokwari. West Papuan peoples make up the majority of the population. This is the Bomberai Peninsula. It was a customary region, and they broke off in 2022 and kept the name of the original province.
Thank you. I'm sorry. They broke off. They came together. They split off. It's like, oh my God, what's going on? And this is all recent. This is 2022. Oh my goodness.
This province is predominantly inhabited by about 60 West Papuan ethnic peoples,
Oh
Christian
my
majority
goodness.
at 63%, famous for being the place that the nationalist sympathizers were exiled by the Dutch during the National Awakening movement in the
That's crazy. That's where they were exiled? So far away from the western side? That's kind of crazy.
40s. They have their famous Kaki Seribu, or Thousand Leg House, and Doreri Bay, which has over 20 former World War II sunken wreck sites. And also, a lot of you
Dang. I bet you can get some pretty cool pictures of those.
guys wanted me to mention that there's a town called Fak here. I'm not cussing. That's just the name. Fak.
What the heck? All right, we're gonna look into this one just because of the funny name. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna do it. I don't care. Fuck.
Central Papua. Capital, Nabire, but the largest city is Timika. Obviously, Papuan peoples make up the largest group. They broke away from the Papua province in 2022. The one thing that makes this place famous is the Grasberg gold mines.
Y'all have a lot of gold. Looks like. But that's actually, it's actually kind of good that you have gold mines on different islands, not just like one. Because that would be kind of a headache to manage, to be honest. Whereas like if you break it into different ones, you can have more jobs, more people spread out rather than all like packed into one island.
One of the largest reserves of gold and copper in the world. The area is about 88% Christian, mostly Protestant, and famous for hosting the tallest peak of Indonesia, Puncak Jaya, which is also the tallest mountain on an island in the world. And
Interesting. I believe that. That's crazy. I wonder tallest island in the world, tallest mountain on an island in the world. What does this compare to? Let's see what he says.
even though near the equator, yes, it has snow on the peak. Lots of cool festivals like the Balian Valley Festival, showcasing traditional Papuan culture, and the Dani Tribe Pig Festival. Papua, capital Jayapura, and of course, Papuan peoples make up the largest ethnic group. So basically, this is the province that used to be the center of the entire Papua province before it kept splitting up. The capital Jayapura also served as the capital to it, and today it is the largest city in the entirety of Indonesian Papua. It's also the most developed and has the largest and busiest airport.
Okay. So it does got a lot going on, right? I think the thing is, it's like when you see all these changes, it's like, well, what's the direction y'all trying to go? What are y'all trying to do? But at least seeing this, it's like, okay, it wasn't just like a bunch of little beefs. Like it actually led to something, it being developed. You have the largest airport. Like that's actually really cool.
It's also the site where the Act of Free Choice was done in 1969, in which Western New Guinea was given a referendum to vote for integration into Indonesia or not by 1,022 tribal representatives. In the end, they voted for integration with Indonesia, which angered some people that initiated the Free Papua movement. It's a complicated story that doesn't have a simple answer, and I'm just saying this is where it went down. Highland.
Should I get into that? I feel like it's kind of, I think it might be out of my realm of understanding, but if you guys feel like I should, then I'll definitely hear you guys out. Because again, this whole region of Indonesia, I think it's very interesting, but it feels like where a lot of the complicated areas is over here. Like not complicated in a bad way, but just like trying to understand. Complex is the word, I guess. Not complicated, complex.
Papua, capital Wamena. This is the only landlocked subdivision within Indonesia, following more or less the customary region of Lapago. And it is one of the last regions in Indonesia to have native peoples to have documented contact with the outside world in 1909. Many of my Indonesian subscribers have told me that this is kind of like the center of the separatist activity, clashes between rebels and Indonesian government officials / military.
Oh, that's crazy. So they're actually fighting to be independent.
Is not uncommon. Everybody knows it. Nonetheless, the people still hold fast to their culture and tradition. You can find those really cool thatched Dani houses in some rural parts of this area. Lots of festivals here as well. And finally, South Papua. Capital, Merauke. This province roughly follows the customary region of Animha. It is the least populated province of Indonesia with only about 500,000 people. It is home to the largest wetland delta in Papua. Very swampy areas with some of the tallest stilt houses.
I feel like that would be really cool. I'm gonna be honest. It feel like it would be really cool to be in one of those for a little bit, like a night or two. But I would probably be terrified the whole time sleeping in that. I'll be honest. Like this is probably the only one like houses that I wouldn't want to stay at because it's so high up. Not that I'm scared of heights, but just I don't know, something about it. I don't know. Maybe I am scared of heights.
In Papua, some are just tree houses. The South Papuan people are well known for their wood carving arts, especially the Asmat tribe.
That's actually really cool.
Also, they are famous for the 0 kilometer monument, which is the easternmost point of Indonesia, as well as the Musa Mus termite mounds.
Whoa. Those are big. What the heck?
Super huge, and they are famous for their agar wood industry.
Yep, I've seen that. I didn't know it was right there, but
termite mounds, they're super huge,
but I've seen agar wood. I know it's extremely valuable. But I didn't know it was here. I just knew about it because I was watching a video about how expensive it is.
They are famous for their agar wood industry. So that is it. Oh my God, that was a lot of provinces, 38. Oh my God, I can't. Look, I love you guys. I love making these videos, but man, sometimes there's just so much information to put out there. But
thank goodness I'm not the only one. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love Indonesia. I think this is one of the things that like, I'm glad you guys embrace it though. Like, I'm glad that you guys are also understanding that it's going to take a little bit to learn, but I think that's exciting. Right. Gosh, now it makes me even wonder, like, where do I want to start next? Maybe we start with Fak Fak. I feel like there's so much we can do. I mean, we haven't even talked about food. I'm sure the food's going to get interesting, right? Based on the regions.
I promised you guys, the Indonesians, I would do this. So cheers. Look, Indonesia is a great place, but this is the one problem I have with Indonesia. There's 18,000 islands. Like, how do you choose which one to go to? Like, each one has a different crazy cool thing going on, and they have different languages and customs. And it's like,
It's like what's crazy? It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if this is not to me personally, but if I were to compare it, it's like you ever go to a restaurant and the menu has too many items, you don't know what to pick. It's kind of like that. Like they're all really good and interesting, but when you're first trying to jump in, it's like, where do I start? Which one want to try? Do I feel like I want to do this or do I want to do that? That's why in America, you notice a lot of the menus get smaller and smaller because it's like it's easier to pick. And also Americans choose food to try to be quick about it, like they come in and come out. But I think but it's also a strength, right? It's a strength that that you guys can learn from each other from and like thrive and be culturally rich because you're so exposed to so many different cultures, but also the world also benefits from that. So it's like like if you guys, I don't know how much y'all lean into tourism, but like it's kind of, kind of like an infinite money glitch if you think about it for tourists, because it's like you have so many diverse experiences. If you can figure out a way to get each of them to be able to stand on their own and the world know about it, like you would literally be creating an infinite money glitch where you just make so much money outside of just the trades. So something to think about, but that's really cool though.
No Indonesian subscribers. I mean, I only got to go to Batam City, but what do you suggest I visit in Indonesia if I were to come back?
I like how you're making that face because like you could probably list like 1,000 places. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think I did pretty good. I think I retained a lot. We're still going to deep dive, but if I were to start next anywhere in Indonesia, what should I talk about? Let me know in the comments, please, 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 because I do want to do Fak Fak, but I also wanted to actually check out some of the other things I was curious about. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love you guys. Check out the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you actually by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.